A tiny hatchling pushes its way out of a leathery eggshell. It takes its first breath, opens its eyes, and looks up at its mother. It feels like the start of a peaceful, classic nature documentary. But the mother is not feeling maternal. She is lunging forward, jaws wide open, sprinting to eat her newborn alive. To us, eating your offspring seems needlessly cruel. In the wild, it's highly efficient energy recycling. A female dragon spends enormous calories laying eggs and digging elaborate decoy nests. Consuming her own young, which can make up 10% of an adult's total diet, reclaims that lost energy on islands where food is historically scarce. This immediate cannibalism creates a ruthless natural filter. Day one on this island is a literal game of the floor is lava. With 10-foot adults roaming the dirt, only the hatchlings with the fastest reflexes and highest situational awareness survive long enough to escape. Their only safe haven is straight up. The moment they hatch, these tiny survivors sprint into the trees, starting a vertical exile where they live exclusively off the ground for up to 4 years. Up here, their appearance completely contrasts with their parents. While adult dragons are a dull, rocky brown, the juveniles are covered in bright blue, yellow, and orange stripes. This coloration acts as perfect camouflage, blending them directly into the canopy leaves and vines. Staying hidden, a specialized Jacobson's organ in the roof of their mouth processes these particles, allowing them to taste fresh meat. If a young dragon accidentally falls to the forest ground, they have only seconds before a giant adult detects them. To survive, they deploy a desperate defense mechanism, rolling in the feces and rotting intestines of dead animals. This coating masks their fresh meat scent, effectively blinding the adult's chemical radar. Once a juvenile reaches about 4 feet in length, the tree branches can no longer support their weight. They drop to the ground permanently, forcing them to transition from catching small insects to ambushing massive terrestrial prey like water buffalo. A successful hunt yields a massive prize. A Komodo dragon can consume up to 80% of its own body weight in a single meal. But because they are cold-blooded, they face an immediate, invisible threat. They must drag their swollen bodies into direct sunlight to heat up. If they fail to absorb enough solar heat, their digestive engine stalls, and that meat will literally rot inside their stomach, killing them. Surviving this terrestrial phase requires a delicate biological balancing act. Hunting the prey is only half the battle. Managing their internal temperature to prevent self-destruction is what actually keeps them alive. For decades, television documentaries repeated the same terrifying detail about how these large adults hunted. They supposedly possessed mouths so filthy, packed with rotting meat, that a single bite would kill prey days later via a slow bacterial infection. That entire theory was wrong. When researcher Dr. Brian Fry placed a Komodo dragon skull inside an MRI machine, the scans revealed distinct, highly developed venom glands hidden right below the teeth in the lower jaw. This venom is a fast-acting dual-payload weapon. First, it triggers a catastrophic drop in the victim's blood pressure, sending them into deep shock. Second, it delivers powerful anticoagulants. The massive wounds inflicted by their serrated teeth simply cannot clot, causing the prey to bleed out rapidly. By the time a dragon reaches 9 or 10 years of age, they face a new bottleneck. They inhabit a handful of tiny Indonesian islands with strictly limited real estate. To survive adulthood, they have to fight to claim and defend their own hunting territory. During the mating season, these territorial disputes escalate into brutal brawls. 2 massive lizards, each 10 feet long and weighing up to 100 kilos, will rear up on their hind legs. Using their thick tails as a tripod for balance, they grapple and wrestle, attempting to body slam their rival into the dirt. Dominating these islands requires absolute physical mastery. They must weaponize complex biochemistry inside their jaws, while maintaining the raw physical strength to overpower their own kind. But physical power is temporary. Around 15 years of age, a dominant male's muscles begin to weaken. Inevitably, a younger, faster rival arrives to violently claim the territory. The aging king is beaten and exiled to the island's barren coastlines, where prey is practically non-existent, leaving him to slowly starve. Today, the entire species faces a similar threat of exile. Human-driven climate change and rising ocean waters are steadily swallowing their remaining coastal habitats. Currently, barely 1,383 adult dragons remain in the wild. In response to shrinking populations, the dragons rely on an extreme biological failsafe. If a female finds herself completely isolated on a fragment of land, she doesn't need a mate. Through a process called parthenogenesis, she can spontaneously double her own chromosomes and lay viable eggs, cloning herself to keep the bloodline alive. Parthenogenesis allows a population to survive in isolation, but researchers have discovered another survival tool hidden within the dragon's biology. Analysis of their blood has uncovered a unique set of antimicrobial peptides. These peptides are aggressive enough to physically tear apart the cell walls of mutated human superbugs, bacteria that our strongest modern antibiotics cannot defeat. The creature that spent millions of years refining tools for slaughter has also engineered a defense that destroys these antibiotic-resistant cells. This apex predator, currently losing its islands to the sea, possesses a specialized chemistry that may provide our next generation of medicine.